everyone, this is Elena Kraus and welcome to another card video. In this video, I'll show you how to make this cute and simple card using some of the new LDRS creative goodies. For this card, I'm using the Nuts About You stamp set, as well the sentiment says the same thing, so I'll be using the little squirrel holding the nut, the acorn, along with the sentiment. I'm gonna stamp on watercolor paper and then with black ink, then emboss with LDRS Creative clear embossing ink, and then I'll do some watercoloring. So I'm trimming my watercolor paper to a smaller piece, and I will stamp, as I said, the little squirrel and the sentiment using black ink and emboss in clear. So I'm just positioning this in my stamp positioner because I want it to have nice coverage of the ink, and because we're stamping on watercolor paper, we needed to stamp a couple of times. So I applied the anti-static powder tool onto the watercolor paper, so when I pour the embossing powder on top, it won't stick where there is no ink. So I stamped that twice in black, and then I'm applying the clear embossing powder. Next, what I will do is just heat set that embossing powder to melt it. So I'm just going quickly over my image to melt that embossing powder. And having the embossing powder as well helps with the watercoloring to keep that those parts separate so the colors don't bleed each other. So here I'm using acrylic palette and I'm using some brush markers to do my watercoloring. So you can use two techniques here. You can apply directly to your image, the marker, and then blend with your water brush, or scribble some of the marker on a piece of acetate or acrylic palette or any other non-porous piece of anything that you have lying around, and then just pick up that color using your water brush and quickly color your image. So I'm using different shades of brown to color the squirrel and the acorn, and then a little bit green for the leaves, and then a little bit kind of peach color for the cheeks and the ears. So for the ears, you will see here I went directly with the marker onto the ears, and for the cheeks I just picked up a little bit of color from the palette and applied it to the image. So I'm applying a couple layers of color, and then for the darker I'm just going with a little bit darker and blending it in with the lighter color. So next I'm going with the green to color those leaves. They're little tiny leaves, so it goes very quickly. So next I'll use some gray to ground that squirrel. Again, I'm picking out from, I have a bunch of markers. So, and applying around that squirrel, around the bottom of the squirrel, and blending it in until it kind of fades off to clear. And then going back in again with more darker around the feet and the bottom of the squirrel, so we have a little nice shadow. And then I'm using some aqua color for the sky, and I'm again doing the same thing, blending it in until kind of we go into clear, so the white paper and the color blend in, so we have this natural kind of a seamless blending of the colors. So then I'll add a little bit more gray to the bottom, and I think I'm satisfied with how it turned out. Now I'm trimming it down to 5 by 3 3/4, and I'm using some fun foam that I had lying around. I'm just going to trim it a little bit to fit on the back of the watercolor panel. I'm using liquid adhesive to adhere that to the panel, and I'll put acrylic block on top, or you can put anything heavy to make sure that it's nice and flat. And then I'm using some craft paper to adhere that panel onto for my card base. Again, I'm applying some liquid glue. I like using liquid glue because you have a little bit more wiggle room until it dries to make sure that it's nice and straight. Then to finish off my card, I'm applying some little clear droplets for just a little bit of extra interest. And I'll set it aside. Once I'm done adhering those, I'll set my card aside to dry. And we are finished. Thanks for watching and see you soon in another video. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to my blog and as well subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiration and more card making ideas. Thanks for watching. Bye!